I called it. I freaking called it. Injustice. If you watched my rant on whether or not I thought DC was doomed to just be bad from now on after the trailer for this came out, well, the teaser trailer, I noted that the teaser trailer, it was the one that was only a minute long, it showed very little that had to do with injustice. It showed very little of the movie, and it looked incredibly lame. And I called that because I had a lot of hype for Injustice. I love the video game. I haven't played the second one, but I played the first one. I really like it, and I really enjoy the graphic novel it's based on. So this should have been the perfect DC film for me. But when I saw the trailer, I thought, oh my god, this looks... The trailer was so overly tame that made the movie just look... It made the movie look piss poor. But I'm like, okay, maybe it's just because it was a 1-minute teaser. They wanted to show all the setup work for it. Like, okay, yeah, a lot of it deals with him, like, Lois Lane being killed by the Joker, well, sort of. And then Clark kind of, like, becoming this dictator. I thought that was just going to be the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie, because the first thing I noticed, the first red flag I noticed was when this movie was first announced. The runtime was 78 minutes. And even I knew that was too short. You can make it... Okay, so what I've always stated, and many other people will say this as well, is that the runtime of a film or a show or whatever should be the length you need to tell your story. And I have complained that movies have been way too long, that they could have told their story in half the time. Hell, I complained about this in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that story was told in half the time and actually told better. This film needed to be longer. This should have been the 4-hour Justice League movie. Because the video game isn't that long as far as video games go. You could, if you're good at fighting it, if you're like really good at it, you can like beat the crap out of the AI no matter what. Like if you play in easy mode or something, you could probably beat the game in about 6 or 7 hours tops. How do you think that would translate to an hour 18 movie? Now, this does show some things that the video game did not show. It shows Superman killing Lois Lane by thinking it's Doomsday. It shows things that didn't happen. Like, okay, so this is going to be a spoiler review. That wasn't a spoiler. If you know anything about Injustice, you know what it is. But this is going to be a spoiler review because I need to get this out. It shows Damian Wayne killing Dick Grayson. But it's very different here because in the game, it was implied that it was deliberate. And then Batman kicks the crap out of Damian. In this one, it's a stupid decision made by Damian. He kills him by accident in a really lame way, too. So it does show some stuff that was not in the game, and that's cool. But all of this feels like it should have been the prologue. The entire thing of this feels like the prologue, because a lot of this stuff was never shown in the Injustice game. And one of the things that I noted in the trailer, there was no hero-on-hero battles being shown. And even in the second trailer, there weren't any. And I was starting to wonder, are there not going to be any? I mean, they briefly showed Damian fighting Ra's al Ghul, but that's a hero versus villain battle, so that doesn't count. And, yeah, there are no hero-on-hero battles. One of the biggest selling points of the video game and the graphic novel were heroes duking it out. And there's none of that in this movie. None of it. The only thing you get is a fight at the end between two different versions of Superman. That's it. That is horseshit. Now, again, like I said, I keep coming back to the trailer, but I do that because after the trailer came out, I started to wonder if this was going to be bad, and I did a whole rant about if DC is screwed or not. And if this movie sucks, it might just set up for DC to fail from now on. And I fucking called it. Good God. But honestly, I could not have predicted the movie would be this bad. This is not only lame, this is awful. Everything about this movie is wrong. Outside of the voice acting, I really like the replacements they got for the actors, I have to say. Like, the replacements for Batman and Superman, they do very well, and all the other actors do their job pretty well. But everything else in this movie is just wrong. Characters are either killed off or handled in really pathetic ways. In the first 7 minutes of the movie, they killed off the Flash in a stupid as hell way. And you probably saw that stuff going around on the internet, like, oh, I hate what they did with Flash and Wonder Woman and Harley Quinn. I'll get to them in a second, but you take the fastest man alive and you kill him off in the fastest amount of time. What the fuck? So, and he was killed off during the prologue, too. Well, kind of the prologue, but good God, that was so stupid. And honestly, I noticed when the box art was released. I know I'm talking about stuff that doesn't really seem to matter that much, like the trailer, the box art, the runtime, but this all leads to places. The box art for this was incredibly lame. It has Superman, like, being tied up with, like, the lasso of truth, and Batman, like, above him, like, doing this or something, and Superman with his glowing red eyes, whatever. That's such a lame poster for injustice. When I think of something like this, I think of, like, a Captain America Civil War poster where you have a bunch of heroes on one side, a bunch of others on the other side, facing each other down. But the reason they didn't do that is because there's no hero-on-hero battles. Not until the very end. What the fuck? And, yeah, I said I was going to get back into Diana and Harley. Let's start with Harley, because this one didn't piss me off as much. What they did with Harley in this was just stupid. Like, okay, yeah, they killed off the Joker. Of course, that's the leading point to all of this. And then Harley gets essentially captured by Green Arrow, sort of. And she basically decides to become a hero because she wants to bring Superman to justice. That's not Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn would want to go after him and shoot him, not bring him to justice. She even says it that way. I want to bring Superman to justice. Harley Quinn would want to kill his ass. Like, do what basically What's-His-Face did before the Suicide Squad, put him in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet. That's what Harley Quinn would want to do, except she would kill him. Not to become a hero. And she even keeps talking about, hey, that she's a hero now. It's like, what the fuck? No! This is just as bad of characterization as she gets in the Suicide Squad movies, where it's just not Harley Quinn. It's super odd, but honestly, that one didn't piss me off as much. It was just really awkward. What did piss me off was what they did with Wonder Woman. I like Wonder Woman. I really do. She's a great character in the comics, and she had a good first solo movie in the DCEU, and yeah, that's it. But still, I like the character of Wonder Woman, but what they did with her in this movie basically made her, like, Superman's, like, puppy dog. She follows Superman around, does whatever he says, and blindly agrees with him without a second thought. Like, Superman goes and kills the Joker, and you think, okay, this is going to cause a rift between a lot of the heroes. And Batman is, of course, pissed about it. What does Diana do? She gets pissed at Batman. The fuck? I mean, at least in the Injustice video game, it is made clear that it is an alternate universe where Superman turns evil. Because they start out in the regular universe where Superman's actually fighting Doomsday, and, like, all the other heroes are fighting these different villains. Like, they're fighting Sinestro, they're fighting Solomon Grundy, instead Doomsday, and then Joker basically, like, teleports Batman to an alternate dimension where Superman became the tyrannical dictator. That was kind of a redundant statement, but whatever. That makes sense, and this is implied to be Earth 22 out of the multiverse. And it said that this is Earth 22. Like, okay, but that was never made clear until Superman showed up, until Earth 1 Superman showed up in the last 5 minutes. So we're just supposed to believe that Superman turned into this dictator just like that. And it wasn't even like a gradual build-up. It was just the drop of a hat. This was so disrespectful to the source material. And honestly, and I have said multiple times, many times, that you can change things from the source material if it benefits the story, or at least the new version of the story you're trying to tell. If you replace it with something decent. Like I said, I didn't have a problem with, in Percy Jackson, of them going to the Nashville Parthenon instead of the St. Louis Arch, because it fit their version of the story and what they're doing. I didn't have a problem with them changing the age either. Or in the Maze Runner, I didn't care about them... what was a big change? I liked what they did with a lot of the characters changing it, like Albie and Gally. They changed the characters for the better. Those are adaptational changes that work. This one is terrible. Everything in this is dumbed down and made stupider. Again, characters are killed off just like that. And it's the same thing that happened with Justice League Dark Apocalypse War last year, where characters are just killed off for shock value, and that's it. Like, Green Lantern in that movie died in a still frame. Really? Shazam got a leg ripped off or something. Diana got an arm ripped off, or I think, and then a bunch of other heroes just died left and right, and that kept happening throughout the entire film as well. And the same thing happens here. Like I said, Flash gets killed off in a really stupid way in under 10 minutes. Bullshit. And then they kill off a bunch of other characters throughout it, like Green Arrow and what's his face? Cyborg and Hawkman. They just get killed off. And in overly brutal ways, because this was a rated R film and they're gonna milk the hell out of that rating. So, what am I supposed to take away from this film? And not only that, the resolution of this movie is awful. Like, they bring in an alternate universe Lois Lane, whose Superman died fighting Brainiac, and she's pregnant with, the child, I guess. They didn't really say what they were going to name it, because she, became pregnant, the day she was captured by the Joker. That's convenient, right? And that was convenient for the sake of the plot, but... And not only that, they killed Jimmy Olsen, just bam, he has 2 lines, and all of a sudden, just bam. You see the Joker's gun through his camera lens, and it just shoots him in the face. As if Batman v Superman didn't fuck that up enough by killing Jimmy Olsen right after he was introduced, just having him get domed. Same thing happened here, but at least it was a little bit better here. It wasn't quite as just blatant. It actually kind of served the story, but... even though he's never brought up again. What? So, yeah, back to the resolution where, apparently that Superman died fighting Brainiac, and apparently she just basically, talks him down. Really? You couldn't even throw in some kryptonite there? Oh, the Atom is also one who gets killed off really abruptly. And, again, these are all in horrifying fashions just for the sake of shock value. And then Superman just... stops being evil, I guess. And then the movie just arbitrarily stops. I'm getting real sick of this happening. This has happened so much this year that it's infuriating. Movies apparently don't need to end anymore. The writers just need to finish the climax of the film and then throw their hands in the air and say, we give up, we're done. This is their Transformers Revenge of the Fallen thing. That was really awkward to say. Their Revenge of the Fallen-ing this. Because that movie, and then Dark of the Moon as well, the movie just kind of arbitrarily stopped. That seems to be happening a lot nowadays, and it's pissing me off. Final verdict. This was dog shit. I could not have imagined this movie being this bad. I really couldn't. I cannot fathom how you take a comic book this great, and a video game this great, and you make something this bad out of it. I don't get it. 1.25 out of 5. This was shit. Not quite as bad as Zack Snyder's Justice League, I assure you, but good. This gives it a run for its money. Because good, but at least it wasn't 4 hours long. Even though if this had been 4 hours, it might have been better. Thank you all so much for watching. Do you have any excitement for Injustice anymore? My hype died down after I saw all their reactions to it. I was initially really hyped for it, and then I saw the trailers, and I'm like, okay. Then I saw the reaction, I was like, this is gonna suck. And yep, it was garbage. So yeah, that's all I got for Injustice, and now I get to go watch Halloween Kills. God, I hope it's better than this.